Claude Opus 5 just landed with one of the biggest AI launch claims of the year. Frontier intelligence close to Fable-5, at half the price. The launch post blew past 21 million views, and the headline number looks absurd, 30.2% on ArcAGI 3, roughly 3 times the next best published score. But there is a catch. Per token price is not the same thing as cost per finished task, and early users are already arguing about whether Opus 5 is brilliantly proactive or simply too eager. So tonight, we are separating the official benchmarks, the independent evaluations, and the anecdotal field reports. Here is what actually shipped. Opus 5 costs $5 per million input tokens and $25 per million output tokens. That is the same base API price as Opus 4.8, while Anthropic says it approaches the frontier intelligence of Fable-5 at half the price. It is the default model on Claude Max, the strongest option on Pro, and it also has a fast mode that runs about 2.5 times faster at twice the base token price. Anthropic is pitching more than a smarter chatbot. The company says Opus 5 can work across software, spreadsheets, presentations, documents, finance workflows, and computer use tasks with less supervision. The launch demos show long-horizon work such as building a computer vision pipeline from raw pixels, reconstructing a machine part in FreeCAD, diagnosing a real coding defect that a community patch missed, and building a trading feed with its own test harness. Those are official examples, not a controlled independent trial, but they reveal the intended product. An agent that plans, uses tools, checks its work, and stays on task longer. Now the benchmark that broke through the noise. ArcPrize independently reports an ArcAGI 3 score of 30.16% for Opus 5 High. ArcAGI 3 is designed around novel interactive problems, where memorizing familiar patterns is not enough. Anthropic's official chart places the next strongest comparison near 9%. That does not mean Opus 5 has solved general intelligence. It means this model made a sharp jump on one deliberately difficult evaluation under a specific high-effort configuration. The same ArcPrize page reports 97.5% on ArcAGI 1 and 90.4% on ArcAGI 2 at maximum effort. Those older suites are closer to saturation, which is exactly why ArcAGI 3 matters more here. On Anthropic's own Frontier bench run, Opus 5 at high effort reaches roughly 43% and more than doubles Opus 4.8. The visual is important. Score rises with effort, and cost rises with it. On Cursor Bench, Anthropic says Opus 5 comes within half a percentage point of Fable 5's peak result, while costing around half as much per task. On GDeepVal, the company reports a new high for real-world knowledge work. And on OS World 2.0, its high-effort run clears the best Fable result, while costing just over 1/3 as much per task. These are impressive results, but the source labels matter. Frontier Bench, Cursor Bench, and the launch charts are Anthropic reported. ArcPrize is independent. Artificial analysis provides a second independent lens on agentic knowledge work. In its A briefcase evaluation, Opus 5 Max reached an ELO of 1720, above Fable 5 at 1574. Opus 5 High scored 1606. But now read the bill. Artificial analysis estimated $17.79 per task for Opus 5 Max, compared with $22.30 for Fable 5. That is cheaper, but it is not half. The high setting was much cheaper at $10.41 per task, with a lower score. And the max run averaged 36.2 minutes and 103 turns. This is the fine print behind the launch slogan. A model can charge half as much per token and still spend more tokens, make more tool calls, or take longer to finish. The number that matters for a business is not just input and output price. It is successful tasks per dollar total. Wall clock time, rework, and the value of the result. Think of effort levels as a dial. Low and medium may be the smart default for routine coding and document work. High or max can be worth it when one correct answer saves hours. But Max is not a free upgrade. It buys deeper search and longer trajectories. Anthropic's own charts make that trade-off visible, which is a good thing. The official demos also show where Opus May 5th earned the premium. One example starts with raw pixels and ends with a reconstructed mechanical part inside FreeCAD. Another finds the root cause of a production bug and handles an edge case the existing patch missed. A third builds a live trading feed and its own test harness. These examples are curated, so do not treat them like benchmark averages. Treat them as product demonstrations of autonomy, visual input, tool use, self-correction, and a deliverable at the end. That is a meaningful shift from models that only answer questions. The social reaction is split in a revealing way. The official launch discussion on Reddit drew roughly 2.9 thousand upvotes at capture time, and a separate positive post with about 1,100 upvotes called the results shocking. Users praised the model's initiative, planning, and ability to keep working through difficult tasks. But a negative Anthropic thread with roughly 490 upvotes described Opus 5 as a nightmare, and warned that it could be too eager, making changes before fully understanding the user's intent. These are anecdotes, not controlled tests. Upvotes measure attention, not truth. Still, they point to the most practical deployment risk. Proactivity is valuable only when the model's authority is tightly scoped. Give it a repository branch, a test suite, a reversible workspace, and explicit stop conditions. Do not hand an eager agent production credentials and hope the benchmark carries over. Safety is another place where the details beat the headline. Anthropic's system card says automated evaluations found misaligned behavior at a rate of 2.3%, the lowest among its recent frontier models in that testing. The company also says its safeguards should require about 85% fewer interventions than Fable-5. But Opus 5 remains behind Mythos on cyber exploit generation, and Anthropic blocks some high-risk capabilities, including binary scanning, penetration testing, and exploit generation, under its safety controls. That means the model is both more capable and intentionally constrained. A benchmark win does not guarantee every workflow will be available, and safety filters can affect edge case developer tasks. There is one more limitation hiding in plain sight: quality is multidimensional. Artificial analysis found Opus 5 strongest on its agentic knowledge work measure, but presentation quality was slightly behind GPT 5.6 Sol. If your deliverable is a polished slide deck, a perfect user interface, or concise editorial writing, the highest agent score may not be the highest final output score. The right workflow may use Opus 5 for the long horizon research and execution, then a different model or a human pass for visual polish and tone. So who should use Opus 5? Teams that need serious coding agents, computer use, document and spreadsheet workflows, or long tasks where supervision is expensive should test it immediately. Start with a real internal task and track success rate, total cost, duration, interventions, and rework. Solo users on Max may get the biggest benefit from letting the model take on an entire bounded project instead of spending premium tokens on simple questions. Who should wait? Anyone who needs perfectly predictable behavior, works directly in production, or has no evaluation harness. The model's initiative is the feature, and without guardrails it can become the failure mode. The verdict: Opus 5 is a legitimate frontier jump, especially on ArcAGI 3 and agentic knowledge work. The half-price claim is directionally credible at the token level and in several task level comparisons, but it is not universal. High and max effort can change the economics, and early user reports make careful permissions more important, not less. Test the task, not the slogan. If you want the next benchmark versus reality breakdown, subscribe to TonkaToyXL. We cover the AI stories that actually matter, with the receipts on screen.